G'day everyone, it's Jenny here. I'm back. So I don't know if you saw my last broadcast, my first ever one, which was a couple of days ago, and I got through it. Yay! Anyway, I made it back. So I thought, afterwards I thought, what really was going on then, which is why I was like scared of doing it, because I reflected that I do webinars and things all the time where I talk, and I thought, why did it scare me so much? What was any different about it? It's no different, right? And so I reflected to myself after I'd got through the overthinking, was what was really underneath the overthinking. And for me, what was underneath the overthinking was fear, right? So I was fear of like what? I was like, well, I was fear of what people will think. And I thought, well, I've never been worried about that before. So I'm wondering if you're on a similar journey, you know, there's something that you want to do, there's something that your heart, your soul is calling you, and you are balking at it because there's some fears around it. And so for me, the fear was around what will people think, and not people that I know, but maybe some of you guys who know me but don't really know what I do, because some of what I do people think is quite out there. It doesn't quite fit with other people's beliefs, and you know, there's this whole fear of like, what's going to happen? What are people going to think? Am I saying stuff that mean, well, people don't want to be my friend anymore, or I don't know. So I started to wonder about that, and I realized it was my fear of judgment, and really not based on anything other than my own fear of it, not really based on anything that anybody's ever said to me. Although I do know when I go out there and talk with people, sometimes I get blank looks when people ask me what I do. Pretty much, you know, I'm a heart-centered coach and biz mentor, but I work very much intuitively. I'm in touch with guides and, you know, just my higher self really, like that's how I live my life. Also able to sort of see into people's energy. I can read their body. You know, it's something I've been practicing and learned to do. So, you know, and sometimes that doesn't fit with people's beliefs, but that's where I kind of got a bit scared. I realized I was a bit scared. Like, what are people thinking of me? Like, people that I know, people that I value. And that's what kind of stopped me. And then I started to really think about that. And this, I think, is the point where we often get stuck or stop, is we stop at the fear. But we don't ask ourselves what comes next, like how do I get through that bit? And that's what I'm talking about today. I'm going to give you a couple of questions a little bit later to ask yourself if there's something, you know, that you're balking at, there's something that your heart is calling you to do. And I believe that our hearts know, our souls speak through our heart. And when you have this calling, you have a knowing, you have a pull that something has to change. It might be something you have to do that you just know it's really hard, something you have to say to someone, something you have to change, something you have to express, and you're finding it really hard to do it. I wonder what can you do to get through it? Don't stop there. Don't let that, because your soul is telling you you have something to be here on this planet. There is something you need to be. And we all have this very, very unique energy signature. I know because I can see it in people. And it's like, I want to describe to you that the world is like this giant tapestry, honestly. You know, so I'm an art teacher as well. So I sort of see sometimes things visually. And what I was shown, imagine that the whole world, this place that we call the world, looks like a giant tapestry, like one of those ones you see in medieval times. You know, it's huge, they fill the wall. And it's like the world is that tapestry, this woven, everything is connected. There is nothing that is not connected through the energy world, through this vibrational world that we live in. And every single person has one tiny little bit of that. And that's the only one tiny little bit of that that's on that tapestry. You are not, there is no one of you anywhere else that is the same. You have something here to express, you have something here to be that is really important. And so when you get a calling, there's something you've got to do. Like here I am, I want another Facebook Live because it's my calling to give this information to you. That's my job. So I'm a teacher, and I'm someone who shares my experience and asks you, from my experience, I'll tell you what I know works, what can help. So if you've got this, you know, amazing thing that you're here to do, you cannot let anything else stop you. There's a knowing, and it happens like on the smallest level. There's a knowing that drives you. And if I were to tell you your soul signature, because it's something I can see in people, it would match the reason why you've chosen what you do in your life now. There is a vibration that you need to express in the world. And so when people ask, what's my purpose? There is a big purpose. There is a big energy that you express. But how you express that day to day on the daily decisions that you make is being driven from this energy, that you need to always be in alignment with it. So, for example, someone whose energy signature I looked at recently, it was like seeing them as a vision holder. So their job is, they were the words I was given. I sometimes see a little picture of it as well, but I was given that this person is a vision holder, and their job was to hold, they're really good at holding the energy of a vision for themselves, but also for someone else. So when somebody works with her, she will amplify that vision hugely. Anybody that works with her, when she holds that vision, they will powerfully, most likely, they will get what they want. So she has this magic ability, and you have that too. You have something that this thing will help you, guide you through your life. And when you know what it is, you'll go, I see why I made the decisions I did, why some things suited me, why some things didn't. But on a daily level, you'll be asked to make decisions that take you in a certain direction. And so when you know, when you get a calling, there's something you got to do, something you got to say, you got to be this energy in the world, that it's taking you in that direction. It's not aimless. It's not that there is a definite, the pathway you get to choose, but there is a definite purpose that you have here. It's not to be an accountant. It's not to be a singer, but it's something that when you do that, you express that energy. So for me, you know, like I'm here expressing my energy as a teacher, as a healer, as a mentor, a guide, you know, and through empowerment. Like my job is to help you be empowered. So, but to do that, I have to do it myself, right? So a lot of what I have to do is I have to live through the same things, same stuff you do, to figure out what's the way that we can be empowered through the struggles, through the bits where you kind of don't know where you're going, through the decisions you have to make that are hard, really hard sometimes. But if you hold back, when you know that there's something you've got to do, you have to, if you hold back when you're not being this energy in the world that you need to be, even if you don't know what that is, you know when you're on track and when you're not. If you don't take that step forward, if you hold back, you'll be pushed from behind. You'll get a push. You'll get something that pushes you in that direction. You'll get stuff showing up, things won't go in the right way. If you keep trying to push in the direction that it's not the right way, you'll get really clear that it isn't the right way to go. And what I mean is, so you might get illness, you know, your back might go out. You might, I don't know, you might get depression, right? You might get other things that, it could be an emotional thing, a physical thing, it could be just something that doesn't go right, but you will get a push that tells you it's this direction. You need to keep going in this direction. You'll be forced to look at what you're doing. You'll be forced to change direction. And I have had that happen in my life too. So there have been things I've had to change that were really difficult. So, you know, marriage change, you know, all kinds of things that we've all experienced that have pushed us in a certain direction. And what it's really asking you to do is to stand up. You need to be able to stand up and be you. And that means sometimes you have to let go of something you want to hold on to. A person, a job, a place, a something, you know, we all get presented with something that we have to change, something we have to let go of. Because to move forward, sometimes you've got to let go of that thing before you can change direction. And that can be the difficult thing. But it also can bring up questions like, well, who am I then? Who am I? If when you begin to get to this place of something's got to change, you've got to do something, it's like you've got to express this energy. Sometimes you'll get questions about, well, who am I then? And that's what I help people do, is figure that out and stay on track with that. So I totally understand that. So at the end, I want to give you 2 questions to help you get through. So if you're struggling with something you know you need to stay with, you're like me, there's something you've got to do and you're just worried about what other people are going to think. Or you've just got this fear of judgment. judging yourself, of other people judging you, here are 2 questions you can ask yourself that may help you. All right, so the first one is, what's the worst thing that could happen? So if there's something you're being presented with to do and you're not sure what to do, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I do this? And so what I'm saying here is, like, I get on Facebook Live, I ask myself, what's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen is some people will go unlike, right? Don't want to see her posts anymore. And I go, well, okay, so if that were to happen, well, would that be anything terrible? Well, not really, because I guess it means we're not really on the same page. If I've really got something to say that somebody doesn't like, we're really not in the same place, which is perfectly okay. I'm okay with that. The second thing is to ask, what's the best thing that could happen? So if this turned out the way I wanted it to, if I made this choice, I made this leap, I did this thing, I said that thing, what's the best thing that could happen? And you know what? For me, the best thing that could happen is you go, you know what? I didn't know what she did, and actually it's really helped me. Or she's more practical than I thought she was. Or maybe this woo-woo stuff is actually got something to it that's worth listening to. Or, wow, like, I really connect with what Jen's saying. So the best thing that could happen is that I would share my message and you'd go, okay, that was really helpful. The best thing that could happen is we would connect on a deeper level because we're talking the same language. The best thing that could happen is I would find my tribe. And when you find your tribe and they're the people that have the same values and the same thoughts as you, that you feel that you're at home. I mean, that's the best thing. So which way am I going to go? Am I going to go with what I'm scared of, or what's the best thing that could possibly happen? And I guess you know the answer because I'm right here. The last thing is, the answers you're looking for will always be inside you. You will never find what you're looking for externally. The courage, the confidence, the conviction to step forward, the trust in yourself will always come from in here. Anyway, that's my rave for today. Thanks for being here, and see you next time. I hope you're in my tribe, and love to hear your comments right below. What do you think? Or anything else you'd like me to talk about. If you want me to tell you a bit more about something I've talked about, explain it a little bit more, I'd love to. So give me some ideas. I'd be happy with that too. Anyway, thanks. Good to see you all. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.